Morning, everyone. We'll call the Friday, February 17th, 2023 meeting to order for Warren County Fiscal Court. I want to welcome everyone online and everyone that's here with us today. And as usual, we're going to start off with an invocation from our good friend Reverend David Tooley from First Baptist Church. After Reverend Tooley is finished, we're going to have Squire Williams lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Would you pray with me? Heavenly Father, we want to pause before we address the business of the day and take this moment to give you thanks and acknowledge our need for you. We're so blessed to live and to work and to raise our families in this county. The opportunities we have here to be educated, to be employed, to volunteer, and to just have fun abound, and we're grateful. We pray for your protection over our county, and we give thanks for the many men and women who even right now are serving in law enforcement, fire, and other first responder roles to make our community a safer place. There's thousands of us that rely on them and are blessed by their presence, and we pray for your protection over them. We give thanks for the leaders in our past who have contributed in so many positive ways to making our county what it is today, and we give thanks for the leaders gathered here today. I pray for wisdom for Judge Gorman, for our magistrates, and for the other public servants and members of our community gathered today as they make decisions and recommendations that will impact us as a community. May they experience your favor as they do all the critical administrative work needed for Warren County. And may the work we all do today be blessed by you and useful in preparing us for the years ahead. In the name of Jesus, I pray. Amen.
Amen. If you'd all stand and face our country's flag, join me please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Reverend Tooley. We appreciate you coming down. And we, a long time ago, played a little adult league soccer together. I'd like to apologize for anything I said on the field that shouldn't have said, but I appreciate you coming down. Thank you for starting the day off with a word. I appreciate that. Have a great weekend. And as you can tell, our fiscal court clerk, Brenda Hale, is not here. She's working on a medical issue this week, but our assistant, Crystal Cummings, is here. She didn't get any sleep last night because she gets to call the roll. She's very excited. So we'll start off. Ms. Cummings, if you'd call the roll.
Esquire Lasley.
Here.
Esquire Cummings. Here. Esquire Williams.
Here.
Esquire McWhorter. Here. Esquire Lawrence.
Here.
Esquire Aldridge.
Here. That was truly fantastic. That's good.
Ready.
All right.
This makes perfect.
That's exactly right. She's ready to roll. Now we're in good shape. All right, first item is approve the minutes of the fiscal court meeting of February 3rd, 2023, and our special called meeting on February 9th, 2023. We have a motion by Squire Williams, a second by Squire Lawrence. Any questions or discussion? Any corrections? If not, please call the roll.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings. Yes, Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am. Item 5 is approve the work schedule for the Warren County Road Department. Motion by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Cummings. Questions or discussion on that? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings. Yes, Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am. Item 6 is approve the personnel changes for Warren County. Motion by Squire Lawrence, second by Squire Cummings. Please call the roll.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am. Item 7 is approve the second and final reading of ordinance 2311, authorizing a lighting agreement between Warren Rural Electric Cooperative Corporation and McKinney Farms Phase 3C. A motion by Squire Lawrence, or a second by Squire Aldridge. And as a matter of record, I have a financial interest in McKinney Farms, so I abstain from that vote. Any other questions or discussion? If not, please call the roll.
Esquire Lasley.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Item 8, approve second and final reading of ordinance 2312, the zoning ordinance amendments. Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire Aldridge. Of course, these are what we spoke about with Mr. Peterson last meeting. Any discussion or questions again on that? If not, please call the roll.
Esquire Lastly.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 9 is approve the second and final reading of ordinance 2313, continuity of government ordinance providing for the orderly succession of the office of Judge Executive in the event of the absence or disability of the Judge Executive as defined in KRS 67.725. Motion by Squire Aldridge, second by Squire Cummings. Any discussion or question? I've had a physical, I'm feeling fine currently. Currently, things could change depending on what happens this meeting, but any other discussion or questions? If not, please call the roll.
Esquire Lastly.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Abstain.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes.
We are going to remove item number 10 from the agenda about a safe house at Plano. We're still working through a few logistics on that, so I'm going to remove item number 10 from the agenda. Item 11 is approve the 211 report for January 2023. Motion by Squire Lawrence, second by Squire Williams. Discussion, if not, please call the roll.
Esquire Lastly.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Item 12 is approve the determination of the amount of $6,500 even to the Builders Association of South Central Kentucky to renew the Cornerstone Partnership. This is paid by Stormwater in full, and it is something they have done for years and years. They're a big supporter of the Builders Association, as they should be. Any discussion on that? Motion by Squire Lawrence, second by Squire Lastly. Other discussion? Not, please call the roll.
Esquire Lastly.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Item 13 is approve Resolution 2303 consenting to Intermodal Transportation Authority's conveyance of Kentucky Transpark Lot 28 to Warren County Water District for development of a water tower. And before we take a vote on item 13 or 14, I'd like to have Gaines Penn come forward. He can kind of explain what is going on at the Transpark and with the ITA.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. As you know, the Intermodal Transportation Authority is an agency and instrumentality of both the county and the city. Whenever the ITA, as we call it, buys or sells land, we come to you and as well as the city seeking consent to do anything with regard to the land. These two resolutions relate to conveyance of two small pieces of land, one to the Water District for a water tower construction, the other is to the RECC for a substation. These are going to be lots adjacent to the Envision electric battery plant, and those are part of the overall project. So that's what we're requesting, your consent. Happy to answer
Any
questions.
questions or discussion for Gaines before we get a motion? Thank you for that. Of course, as you can imagine, that fantastic announcement we had with Envision that you're a part of, they have two items they need, and it seems to be electric and water. And so that's what, when you start to do that, that's an infrastructure improvement. So thank you for that hard work. Do we have a motion on that change? Magistrate Squire McWhorter, motion, second by Squire Aldridge. Any discussion or questions for Gaines? Or, all right, if not, please call the roll.
Esquire Lastly.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
And item 14 related as well, approve resolution 2304 concerning the Intermodal Transportation Authority, Inc.'s conveyance of Kentucky Transpark Lot 27-1 to Warren Rural Electrical Cooperative Corporation for development of an electric substation. Motion by Squire Lastly, second by Squire Lawrence. Any discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lastly.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Gaines. Have a great weekend. Item 15, approve first reading of ordinance 2314, rezoning property located 8125 Richardsville Road from agriculture to residential estate containing approximately 3.97 acres and presently owned by Roger Matthew Choate II and Taylor Choate. Motion by Squire Aldridge, second by Squire Williams. Discussion or question? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lastly.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Item 16 is approved first reading of ordinance 2315, rezoning property located at 3982 Blue Level Road from agriculture to a residential estate containing approximately 1.0 acres and presently owned by Chad and Jamie Curtis and Joanne Neighbors.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Aldridge, second by Squire Cummings. Discussion or questions? Not, please call the roll.
Esquire Lastly.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Item 17 is approved first reading of ordinance 2316, rezoning property located at 979 Moorman Lane from agriculture to townhouse multifamily residential and residential estate containing approximately 24.58 acres and presently owned by Higgins Homesteads LLC, care of Clark Higgins. Motion by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Aldridge. Any discussion or questions on that? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lastly.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Item 18 is approved determination of the amount of $4,250 to Sprouse Container for a shipping container to replace a dilapidated wooden storage building on the jail property. 3 quotes were solicited with no other responses submitted, making this the best quote. This is paid for by Securus Capital Improvement Funds and no cost to Warren County.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Aldridge, second by Squire Cummings. Any discussion or questions? If not, please call the roll.
Esquire Lastly.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes.
Jailer Harmon, no, there's no way we can have dilapidated buildings on the jail property, so that's fine. I appreciate the comment on there for the record as well.
Yes, sir.
Item 19 is approved budget transfers for Warren County. Motion by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Aldridge. Question or discussions? If not, please call the roll.
Esquire Lastly.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Item 20 is approve emergency determination in the amount of $2,148.55 to Stuart Ritchie Service Group for repairs or replacement of a water heater pump and a hot water heater for the Warren County Regional Jail.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Aldridge, second by Squire Cummings. Any discussion or questions? If not, please call the roll.
Esquire Lastly.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Item 21 is approve emergency determination in the amount of $3,365.90 to Tri-State International for repairs to the bed on dump truck number 5 for the Warren County Road Department due to snow. Motion by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Lawrence. Any discussion or questions? If not, please call the roll.
Esquire Lastly.
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Item 22 is grant authority to advertise for inmate medical services for the Warren County Regional Jail.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Lawrence, second by Squire Lastly. Jailer Harmon, any comments on that?
I'll be brief at this point, Judge. We've had the same provider for 18 years, and it's time to put out to bid and see what kind of pricing everyone has and what services are offered. I think there'll be at least 3 companies that have showed interest so far, and so this should advertise Monday, and we'll open those bids on March the 10th. and see what they have to offer us. This is one of our largest obligations and also one of the most expensive. So look forward to bringing you the results of this process in March.
Great. Thank you, Jailer. Thanks for the hard work. Any questions or discussion on that? If not, clerk, please call the roll.
Esquire Lastly,
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Item 23 is approved determination in the amount of $9,200 for the purchase of 2 new Connex shipping containers for Buchanan Park. 3 quotes were obtained. This is the lowest and best quote. Motion by Squire Williams, second by Squire Cummings. Any discussion or questions? If not, please call the roll.
Esquire Lastly,
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Item 24 is approved determination in the amount of $7,350 for CDL training for 4 employees at the Warren County Road Department and 1 from the Warren County Parks Department. Chad Coffey, Kenneth Rector, Landon Coffey, and Billy Joe Harold from the Road, and Clinton Hauk from the Warren County Parks Department. Motion by Squire Aldridge, second by Squire McWhorter. Any questions or discussions?
Hey, Josh, this training, how long a time is it, and how quickly would you get them into this training?
So, short answer on that, it's a 30-day class. They will be attending class just like a normal workday. However, there is a time period once they get through a lot of their classroom stuff that if they're able to take the test and pass early, then they can leave. Obviously, once they get their certification. So we're hopeful that some on-job training now, going out and preparing them through their permits, that hopefully we can speed that process up. But ultimately, we felt like with the changes to some of the regulations to get a CDL license that changed last February, you're now required to go through a certified school for everyone that wants a CDL license now. It used to be you could study a book, go pay a $200 test and take it. You can no longer do that. So as you'll see in your information, it would have cost about $21,000, $22,000 to send these people through a class previously. But we were able to work, thanks to the county attorney reaching out to the technical school. We were able to use some grant funding to get that cost way down. And this is going to help both of our departments, Chris's at the Parks and with the Road Department, and just filling vacancies that are hard to hit in the open market. All these employees have been with us for a while and show great interest in staying and learning more and doing more. So I think this is a good way we can promote from within and utilize the grant funds to get our costs down.
That's great. Yeah, it's a great program and a good application for these employees. It just solidifies what they can do for the county.
And absolutely, and we're thinking, we don't know exactly when they'll start this class. We're kind of in the middle of getting that lined up. Obviously trying to be mindful of when the Parks Department gets busy and when the Road Department gets busy. So I would say sometime March, April-ish, we'll get those guys in class and get started. So, appreciate it.
And again, a 30-day completion on that is what the anticipation is. That's great.
Correct. Thank you.
Thank you, Squire Cummings. Any other questions or discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Esquire Lastly,
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes.
All right, item 25 is approve amendment to immaculate cleaning service contract to add the cleaning services at the new Warren County Road Department offices twice a week at a cost of $250 per week. Motion by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Aldridge. Any questions or discussions? If not, please call the roll.
Esquire Lastly,
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Just as a note, anytime you have someone new back here, especially just for my information, but also for all of the citizens of the county. We're currently pulling every contract that we have with Warren County and taking a look at it to make sure the timeline for rebidding, looking at all options. And this is one we're looking at, but we're looking at everything, every department. We're going one by there just to ensure. It's great to have a second set of eyes. And I'm going to look at everything just to make sure we're all on the same page and that we have our ducks in a row. So that is part of it as well. I know all department heads will be readily available for all that as well. So just giving everyone the heads up on that. Item 26, approve order 2310 appointing Rick Williams to the Operation Pride Board. Everyone's jumping on that because it's not their name. Moved by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Aldridge. Any discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Lastly,
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams,
Abstain.
Esquire McWhorter,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Squire Williams. Item 27, approve determination in the amount of $91,235.28 to Mohawk Carpet Distribution Incorporated for removal, disposal, and replacement of flooring on the second floor of the Warren County Courthouse. This is a state price contract on flooring and labor.
Motion.
Motion by Squire Lawrence, second by Squire Williams. Any questions or discussion?
Yes, sir.
Yes, indeed.
James? Is all this price tag completely on us? AOC's not, I mean, is it anything, let's make sure this is our expense? Something that AOC is not reimbursable?
Correct. Yeah, this is 100% to the county.
Correct. Just want to make sure.
Yep, it's a good question. All right, any other questions? Thank you for that. All right, please call the roll.
Esquire Lastly,
Yes.
Esquire Cummings,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams,
Yes.
Esquire McWhorter,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Item 28 is grant authority to submit application for local expanded jurisdiction for the building department and authorize judge executive to sign all related documents. Josh, before we, item 28, you want to discuss that?
I apologize, I didn't have time to write a detailed memo for this one. But to kind of simplify what this is, our current building department has what we'll call local jurisdiction, which means we can take care of any inspections on residential projects, not a problem. But where it really limits us is moving into larger commercial stuff, over 10,000 square feet, occupant loads over 100. What this will allow us to do is go take care of restaurants and banks and grocery stores and strip centers as we start to push out further into the county, which is a great thing that's happening. So this, just so if anyone's ever worked in the city, this is the same jurisdiction that the city of Bowling Green has. So this brings us as equal with their department. For years, our building electric department was fairly small. In the last 5 years, we've made tremendous growth in hiring certified inspectors, and we feel like we're in a good position now to make this application. I don't know a time frame. The state may take their time in reviewing the application, but as soon as that is approved, which I feel confident will be, we can move into that. What will come with that, just to go on and give everyone a heads up, that'll come with a slight amendment to our fee structure, because when you do commercial plan review, you're required by the state to have a plan review fee that goes along with that, but we don't get to set that fee. It's the same, it's a fee that's generated through the state, so I'll have an amendment to that fee structure if we need to, but that likely will happen probably sometime this summer. So we're looking as just an opportunity to increase revenue, increase service. I know some of our builders would typically are very encouraging if they can keep it local. We can be way more responsive in inspections and communication than when you move up to a different level of government. So we think this is a win-win for everybody.
So this jurisdictional stuff will be strictly in the county? So
It is
the
it's just
city
Warren
annex
County.
is still under the Bowling Green?
Yes, sir, yeah. So this would just be for county. They say it's expanded jurisdiction, but I kind of call it like more an expanded local jurisdiction. We still can't go beyond the county. And there are some things such as institutional, like schools or hospitals, that will always fall within state building code, and they'll take care of those inspections. This just kind of fills that middle area, which is right where we're seeing the growth. So
That's great. And again, there was a time where typically there was very little business in the county, which is fine, mostly residential, but those days are over, and the growth is happening out in the county as well. And so it does give us the ability to make sure that everything is being done the correct way as well from a commercial standpoint, which many times is extremely just as important as the residential. So that's what this is expanding.
And I will update you guys as soon as we get any feedback from the state on that. I know there are a couple other outside of Warren County jurisdictions also making the same application. So I think, Simpson County is growing, some other neighboring communities are growing, they're trying to do the same thing. So it may be a slow process, but I'll keep you all up to speed on it. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Josh. All right, do we have a motion? Oh, motion by Squire Lastly, second by Squire Lawrence. Any other discussion or questions on that? If not, please call the roll.
Esquire Lastly,
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
Item 29 is approve the 2022 fiscal year audit for Warren County. Motion by Squire McWhorter, second by Squire Aldridge. Any questions for Treasurer Burrell on that? I think you all got a memo as well on that. So. All right, if not, please call the roll.
Esquire Lastly,
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, will the treasurer please report the claims?
General Fund, $1,062,483. Road Fund, $89,199. Jail Fund, $382,895. Stormwater Fund, $51,337. Grant Fund, $62,589. E911 Fund, $15,201. And Fed Forfeiture Fund, $1,881. Be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
Motion to pay the bills.
Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire Aldridge. Any other questions? If not, please call the roll.
Esquire Lastly,
Yes.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Williams.
Yes.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Aldridge.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Sheriff Hightower was here earlier swearing in a new deputy. I don't see him here. Miss Yates.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Jailer Harmon,
Thank you, Judge.
it's good to see you this morning.
Two, Judge.
Jailer, you can smile when you say that. It's okay.
There's camera.
Mr. Comer.
This is Brittany Garrett. Brittany is one of our interns. She's doing a great job. She's also one of our parks employees. We've got part of our dream team here. 4 of our 80-plus parks employees who are Bess, Patrice, Dana, and Olga, and they're here to make sure that I'm paid.
All right. Brittany, it's good to have you today. Do you have anything you'd like to say? I'm not going to say that. I met her earlier. She's about to crawl under that chair. No, it's good. It's good to have you here today. We appreciate your dedication and thank you for working with us. All right, Mr. Moore. That's good. Miss Warren, I see you on there. How are you today?
Thank you, Judge. Good morning.
Everything's good
Everything's good.
and volleyball's going well. All right, Ronnie Pearson.
Thank you, Judge.
Great. I don't see Tommy Loving here today. I appreciate his. One thing that's happening with our assistant Joy Guess and Crystal Cummings, they've been taking tours of each department one by one, and they got to go through the drug task force facility, and it was a highlight of their day, I'm sure. So Tommy was a great tour guide. So, Mr. Hardy, great to see you. Ben, everything good in your world? Thank you for lying. Good. James Markram? Okay. That is great. Squire McWhorter?
Thank you, sir.
Everything good?
Everything's good.
Squire Aldridge?
Thank you. I just want to mention again that the Mount Pleasant Church of Christ is having their first responders appreciation breakfast tomorrow morning, and that is from 8 to 10 a.m. and they're located there on Highway 185.
Awesome.
And then also like to take an opportunity just to thank the different departments where Magistrate Lasley and Magistrate Williams and I have had an opportunity to go by and tour the different facilities. We've had long tours with the Parks Department and the other department heads that have met with us. Jailer Harmon. It's been a very eye-opening experience as we've gone around to these other departments to try to understand what they go through on a day-to-day basis. And I appreciate them taking the time to do that.
Yes.
It's a great thing that you're doing, a great thing our department heads. You'll see how dedicated the people are. Now you went on a full shift, 8 hours at the jail.
I did spend on this side of the bars, yes. Just to be clear, don't want anybody to get nervous. But yes, I spent an entire day with Jailer Harmon last week. And again, that was
Fine. Yep.
the service that they provide our community is just
Yep.
amazing.
They do a fantastic job and always have. The one thing about the jail is they never get there and say, I wonder what we're going to do today. So they always have something going on. I appreciate Jailer Harmon and appreciate all the hard workers, the employees that we have down at the jail. Squire Cummings?
I kind of echo off of what Eric said. I think we are fortunate to have the staff and the department heads and so forth that we work for Warren County, extremely dedicated and extremely committed individuals that help run our county day to day. And just want to say kudos to them. And one special shout out, I don't know if we've been mentioning it here yet, but the daddy-daughter dance that took place a couple weeks ago was absolutely outstanding. Well, this thing grew, I mean, what it's grown from where it started and so forth. I mean, 24, 25, 2,600 kids, and I just know from my own experience that my son-in-law took one of my granddaughters, and it was a big deal to them. And it's something that a memory that I know my granddaughter will have forever. It's all because of what they do. So I just, they can't get enough credit for putting that on. And it goes back to Lisa Clary, kind of drove that bus for a lot of years, and now she's retired. But I can tell you, I went out there for a moment, and you couldn't hardly get in. It was packed. It was great, and it's just one of the best events we do as a county. So I want to thank the Parks Department for all they did, and it was amazing.
Thank you, Squire Cummings. It is a fantastic. Now, Catrice, did you hire DJ Crumpy? I did. Okay, DJ Crumpy. Okay. I just know DJ Crumpy was out there or whatever, so that's good. So, okay. Well, it is a great event, and so we're excited about that. Just one more thing that we do in the community to make it an exceptional place to live, work, and raise a family. So thank you all for the hard work you did for that. Squire Lastly?
Just reinforcing again, we had a great time with the Parks Department. Was a little concerned it was going to be like Gilligan's Island. What was supposed to be a couple-hour tour, I thought it was going to go. I had to call my wife several times to say I might be home by Wednesday, but it was very informative. We do appreciate it.
No one here is surprised by that comment, so it's good. They're excited, and that's good. So, all right, Squire Lawrence.
I'd just like to reiterate, we are very, very blessed to have such good department heads. You can go across the whole state of Kentucky or the Commonwealth and look at the other parks and recs, look at other road departments, and we really have an exceptional, a shining example of what it's supposed to be. I appreciate all you guys.
Yeah, it's great. Squire Williams?
I'll say that about all the department heads. We've managed well, and it's been a great learning experience. And I think Esquire Lastly was only upset because he missed a couple of meals. We did go by a concession stand, and he had an opportunity, but he found out later somebody else could get a discount. So I do have to be very careful not to forget my lovely wife.
Yes.
We'll be celebrating our 48th anniversary next week, and best to her.
Sainthood takes place at 50 years.
That's right, that's right. 48 years of wedded bliss for you, about 36 for her. That's awesome, so that's good. So.
We got a note this week that we've been friends on Facebook for 14 years.
Yes. Congratulations, that's right, that's good. So. I love that. Well, congratulations on that. That's fantastic.
And best, Brenda.
Yes, absolutely. Ms. Cummings,
I'm good.
you sure?
Yeah.
You did a fantastic job today. Your job's not over. There was a lot of stuff, paperwork to go through, but so far, so good. Ms. Milliken?
Thank you. Thank you for all the well wishes for my mother. I know she appreciates that, and I will let her know.
Yep, thank you. Mr. Burrow?
Thank you, Judge.
Yeah, let's please keep Ms. Hale in your thoughts and prayers. She's at home and working on a few things, and so we hope to see her back Monday soon, for sure. Couple items. Next Wednesday, many of you know, it's Greg Burrell's birthday. Probably some of you got an invitation to this big banger that he's getting ready to have, but, oh, not everyone got it? Okay, nice. Actually, it's being taken care of because it's on a Wednesday. They purposely do never have Greg's birthdays on a Friday or Saturday, so Wednesday maybe it'll be fine, but happy birthday to Greg, so that's good. How about this? Our former Judge Executive, Mike Buchanan, his birthday is March 1st, and so be sure to say something to him as well. Any other business to come before the court this morning? If not,
Motion to adjourn.
motion to adjourn by Squire Lawrence, second by Squire Williams.
87 votes in a row.
That's exactly right. He's got it. We are adjourned.